Today, I am joined by Kerry and Jay Gagnon. They are the proud purveyors of the Grooming Den, which has just opened in Mattapoisett. I'm so thrilled to have the opportunity to speak with them today. Welcome, Jay and Kerry.
Right.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
It is absolutely my pleasure. Tell us a little bit about you and your new beautiful spot in Mattapoisett.
Well, my name's Jay. I've been grooming steadily for the past 5 years, and I have a few other years experience when I was a kid. That's where I started helping my dad when I was a teenager, and I came back to it years later. So I've been doing it steadily for the past 5 years now, and just opened up our own place, and so far going pretty good.
Awesome. That's fantastic. I had the opportunity to stop into your place. It is it is a beautiful little spot. I'll tell you, any pet parent would be for sure feel great about leaving their dog there.
Very cute. Thank her for that.
Expertly done, I must say. So tell me something. Why is grooming so important, and why is it so much more, in your opinion, than just, throwing your pet in a bathtub and doing a little soap and water thing?
Well, aside from cleaning them and giving them a cute haircut, it's good for many health reasons. During the bath and the grooming, you can feel the pet all over, because you're doing it anyway, for any bumps or lesions or ticks, fleas, anything on it that might be a concern for the owner and the pet's health. You check the ears for ear infection. Sometimes in their sanitary areas, sometimes they can get hematomas or like scabs from anything that you can let the owner know about, and they can take them to the vet, and just to make sure they stay healthy.
Yeah, that's great. I don't think people realize that there is really a significant health benefit to that. I know that when I've had my dogs groomed, they have told me, hey, you may want to, check that right ear, that, there seems to be a little something starting, or at the very least, keep an eye on it. So I think it's great. And I tried it once. My husband and I have Labrador retrievers, and years ago we tried to do it ourselves in our own bathtub and it went
messy.
horribly wrong. There was fur everywhere. There was water everywhere. So I won't do it now. I will not do it.
Yeah, and aside from the things I just mentioned, also when you're grooming the pets, you're going to find on a lot of them, especially with the longer hair, they can get matted very easily, which when that gets stuck to the skin, it can also cause skin irritation, even sores in some cases.
Pain for the pet, yeah. And I think in regards to the ticks, when he mentioned the ticks, it just reminded me that last week, I think he probably removed 10 ticks from some different pets. I mean, some places, and I don't blame the owner. Those ticks are so small, and then they're hidden in the fur. So when he's doing it, then you can see the engorged ticks, some cases right under the chin, in the fur ears on the face. Yeah. So, and then we of course let them know about, we found some ticks, just wanted to make you aware. But that was just reminded me that just happened last week. So far, no ticks this week, I don't think.
None this week yet.
Yeah, and it's interesting that you say that, because everything that I've been reading suggests that tick season is going to be just bad this year. So all the more reason to, obviously pet owners should be doing their own checks at home, but to your point, they don't necessarily catch them. So it's great that you're doing that as well.
Yeah, in fact, the grooming shop I worked previous was in more of a urban area. So we didn't really see as many, especially this early in the season. So being in a more rural area now, it's surprising for me to see them out so early. But I guess it's more common out here in Mattapoisett.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's a lot of places that are a little more wooded, where there's
Yeah.
just more trees, where people, the Mattapoisett bike path, for example, is a beautiful spot to walk your
Mm,
dogs, but there are spots there where it gets a little bit more tree lined and things like that, just as an example. So,
yeah.
Yep.
one concern, obviously I'm a pet owner myself, and I hang with pet owners, but one thing that has come up, when I have conversations with pet owners about taking them to groomers and things like that, some people have dogs that are just incredibly anxious.
Hmm.
And so because they know that the dog is anxious, sometimes they can be a little bit uncomfortable about leaving their
Yeah,
pets.
if that
Um,
happens.
how do you handle that? How do you comfort and help dogs that are a little bit more anxious through that?
Well, we can let the owner come into the back with them. That usually will help calm them down. Sometimes it gets them through the door. Otherwise, they just try to run back out.
Mm-hmm.
And then they can stay with them for a little while. Then once they feel comfortable, they'll usually leave. We've had a couple customers that wanted to stay for the whole grooming, which is okay too. But a lot of times that can be a distraction for the dog. They just want to keep getting to their owner, and it's tougher for me to work on them. But a lot of times after they leave, the dog has resolved itself to being with me. And if I stay calm and relaxed and talk soothingly to the dog, they'll usually calm down, and slow movements, nothing fast. And it usually works out good. Calms them down.
Yeah, I think there's some other techniques that I've seen him use too. Like, I mean, definitely talking to the dog. I've, seen that, and I do it too because I've bathed, a few dogs that are anxious, especially with the noise of the water. Like, for example, I'll spray the water very short spurts in the corner just so they can
Yeah.
hear it first, and then see how they react, and then, slowly kind of put some water on their paws and just very slow. But he's, he'll definitely like turn the clippers on,
Yeah,
like,
the
yeah.
clipper, sometimes the noise of the clipper scares them. So I'll turn it on, slowly get it closer to them. And then before I start clipping, I'll just use the back side of the clipper and just kind of go over their fur just to get them used to it a little bit, and then turn it around. And they usually don't even notice at that point.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, now, have you ever had situations where you could only get so far with a dog, and you just had to say, okay, we're gonna have to gradually
Yeah, it's tough when it's like that. When I feel like it's going to be a situation like that, is I'll try to start grooming in a inconspicuous area. So if I can't finish, at least it's not going to be a half shaved in the front and half
right.
shaved in the back type of situation. But that's few and far between.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, and in my experience with dog training,
Mhm.
I think every dog trainer has said to me, whatever is radiating down that leash, so the dog will pick up on it. So
Mm.
if you as a pet owner are incredibly nervous going into a groomer because you're anticipating your dog to behave or act or be fearful,
Mhm.
they're picking up on that, which probably
Yeah,
doesn't necessarily help the situation.
right.
No, but it doesn't, but I can totally understand. And I usually try
Yeah.
to calm them down, and, tell them that, I'm going to take some pictures, like I've done report cards where I've taken pictures throughout the whole groom and then able to send them so that, they can see the report card, they call it, at the end, and see that they did okay. And then they'll feel better for next time. I've considered, taking some for we haven't had any more real anxious owners, but for really anxious owners, taking some short video of the dog just to kind of say that the dog is okay and sending it to them just to kind of ease their mind while they're there, because the dog
Yeah.
is there for a bit of
Couple
time.
hours,
Yeah. So that's definitely an option, especially if they remind me or ask. I would definitely make sure I do it. But yeah, I mean, I think that definitely contributes to some of the anxiety too. That's why a lot of times when I hate to say, but when the owner is very anxious and they're saying that the dog is anxious, then when the owner leaves, a lot of times the dog is okay with us. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so it's, I think that their anxiety is getting the best of them. Like you said, they can feel it down the leash.
Yeah.
A
Yeah.
lot of times too, if you use phrases that they may know, like, do you want to go outside, or do you want a treat? Do you want to go in the car? Do you want to go for a walk? You'll find one of those phrases will work. As soon as you say one, the ears will pick up, and you'll know, and that seems to calm them down a little bit too.
Yeah.
And I think it's great that you're at least willing to go slow. I mean, we've all heard, and I don't want to mention any names, but we've all heard the horror stories of things that happen at dare I say, national places that offer dog grooming services.
Yeah.
And I think that contributes to it in some way. So I think it's great that you're willing to sort of go above and beyond and do what you can to put both the owner and the dog at ease, because it is such an important part of pet ownership.
Exactly. I would love to, I want them to feel comfortable coming, so we make a long-term customer, happy people and dogs. So that's like the goal, just, and if they can't get done, like we've talked about it, if the dog is just too anxious and it just can't happen, then the owner will be called, right away, please come back. We just don't want to push him too much more. He's a little too anxious, and we don't want to ruin the rest of the experience for him. And we can try a little, safety reasons. Yeah. So, we can try again in little amounts, little bits of time. You can come in a couple weeks, maybe she can stay next time for a little bit. So we're definitely open to helping people that have some behavioral or anxious dogs, because we've had a couple of instances already where people have been like, oh, he can't be groomed. This dog we've been told, by the groomer, they won't take him back. We've had a few, and he's been able to groom them. So,
oh my gosh.
Yeah. So it's been, one was not groomed for so long. Remember, I had the video of a big transformation of this little dog that was all overgrown. T-Bone.
T-Bone.
Yeah, T-Bone. He was all overgrown, and the poor owners were like, we haven't been able to bring him anywhere. And they started with one of their dogs, and they brought in one. And then when they saw that dog did well, they asked if they could go get T-Bone and try him. And I said, yeah, sure, go get T-Bone. He came back. He was all overgrown. They couldn't bring him anywhere. And he was no trouble at all. Just kind of taking it slow.
Why they had trouble? He was really good.
Yeah. I guess it was the approach. I don't know. It could have been the approach. I don't want to judge somebody else's, what they did, but I know his approach is very, slow and gradual and calm, even keel. So I think that helps.
Yeah,
a lot.
I think so.
Oh, for sure. For sure. And what a success story, and what a testament to your dedication and your willingness to say, well, I'm not going to be intimidated by that. Let's just try it out and see what happens.
Yeah.
In fact, a lot of times it's the ones that people come in, like a lot of times this happens, they come in with two dogs and say, watch out for that one, he's going to be tough. And it's always the other way around. It's that one's the easy one, and the quiet one is always the trouble.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, in addition to dog grooming, you offer the unique service of cat grooming, which is not offered everywhere. Tell a little bit about that.
Well, cats can be a little bit more difficult. They seem to get scared a lot more easily than dogs. Their skin is very loose on their bones compared to a dog, so they're a little bit more difficult to groom. And maybe they know that, and maybe that's why they're a little more anxious.
Yeah.
So you probably find a lot more cats are unable to be groomed than dogs.
Interesting.
So far, I think we've only had to send one home that we couldn't do.
Yeah, that's right. It was one, I think. And he'll do the lion cuts, which is just shaving and leaving the tail and the head and the paws, right?
Yeah.
And then he also offers just the nail trimming and the sanitary area. So, because a lot of times they'll get like maybe matted around the bum area, which for health reasons, I mean, it could be painful. They can't, the bathroom, they could be getting like, what do they call it? Like urine burns, from the matted fur. So he offers that. But like he said, cats can be a little bit more sensitive. So you have to be a little bit more aware of their presentation, their reaction when you are doing it. And that's one of the things, when I answer the phone, I do tell them, cat owners, like cats can get stressed very easily. And if it's not, going to work, I'm just letting you know, like, it's just not going to work. And we'll have to call you to come get the cat. And then we can maybe try it again in a small dose,
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, the first thing you need to do is cut the nails.
Yeah.
Because they will scratch, and that's the biggest thing to look out for.
Yeah. And I think stereotypically, I mean, we've all seen, the cartoons and the memes that, the cats, you don't necessarily always associate cats and water or cats and baths.
Yeah.
So, I think again, for health reasons, it's wonderful that you offer that service, because I don't know of a lot of grooming locations that offer that for pet owners.
Right. Especially the baths can be difficult. They really don't like the water.
Yeah.
If they're getting too stressed out, I'll spray it, not on the cat. I'll spray the hose and start to get closer to them. And if I think they're not going to be able to handle it, I'll just stop.
Yeah.
Most of the time, once you get them wet, they're usually okay at that point.
Yeah.
Usually it goes okay.
And a lot of times we haven't had to do the bath. I mean, we offer it, but a lot of people will be like, no, if we can just get the mats out, they're okay with just kind of getting the mats out or combing them out. And the cats do take care of themselves,
clean, yeah.
Right.
But if we can do that, they're okay with that. It's not a lot of people request just a bath. I would say
no, not many.
no. It's more like if you can shave them, or you can get the mats out, or try to brush the mats out is what they're concerned about. They haven't been able to do it, and some people don't even know that the cat is matted, because I find it difficult to
Sometimes it's tough to find the mats. You really need to check it with a comb. Sometimes you can't tell with your hand if you're feeling fur or skin, and it's tough to find sometimes.
So especially long-haired cats, I think it's good to bring them in for like a routine nail cut, brush, just to kind of keep them doing their best.
Yeah.
Well, so they don't wind up with mats so tight that now they're pulling on their skin. And then if I imagine more extreme situations, now you've got cat litter, or you've got urine burns or things like that could be the result of all of that. So
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah. Now tell us about because I know you do you don't have to go to your facility for a full bath and all that stuff. You can go and just get your nails, get your pet's nails trimmed. Tell us about the importance of doing that in between groomings.
Okay, so the nails, if they're not kept up with, just like our nails, if you just let them grow, I mean, me being a guy, if I let them get a little bit too long, I can easily just chip one. The same thing with dogs. They can chip one, or they can start to split. So you should keep them short. The longer you go in between cutting the nails, there's veins and nerves in the nails, which they call the quick, and that grows with the nail. So if you let them go too long, that's going to get cut when you cut the nail, and it's going to bleed and hurt the dog. So you should stay on top of the nails. And besides that quick, also, the nails can start to curve. They can even curve and grow into the paw, into the pad of the paw, which,
oh my gosh,
that can get infected. You might have to go to the vet to take care of that at that point. So it's very important to keep up with the nails, in between grooms, especially. And also on the feet, the hair that grows in between the pads is important to take care of too, because I've seen on some dogs that can get all matted in between the pads, and that can lead to an infection and not good.
Yeah, for sure. And I imagine with cats, because they're digging in cat litter and
Mhm.
their excrement and everything else. So if you have,
Right.
imagine the same is true if they get that fur, that grows a
Yeah.
little bit between their paw pads. Now you got all kinds of bacteria and
Yeah.
Exactly.
whatever else in between their paw pads, which would not be good. I imagine it would make an infection that much worse.
Hmm.
Yeah, exactly. If they
Yeah.
have a little, even if their nail kind of grew in and poked the pad or whatever, and then they're in the
And then
litter and they've got it all stuck because
open
they got
wound
the
in there too.
they've got
Yeah.
the fur there. So yeah, I mean, definitely keeping up with that type of routine grooming,
Mhm.
routine care of the pet is important.
Yeah.
Yeah. And a lot of people, and I'll even speak for myself, I am not at all, I mean, I consider myself a fairly experienced dog owner, but cutting my dog's nails,
Yeah.
not my jam at all.
Yeah.
Because of the quick, and I have black labs, so their toes are black, and you can't really see the quick.
No.
So
Yeah.
I'm never really confident in doing that myself. So
Yeah.
it's great that you just offer it, that you, like I said, you don't have to go in for the full bath and shave and everything else. You can just stop in and have that done in between.
Mhm.
Yeah. We also
Anytime,
have
walk in anytime for nail trim.
what
Yep.
about the loyalty card? We even have a loyalty card that goes with it. So we offer this card that if you come in, I'll stamp it every time you come in for a nail trim for your pet, and 6 nail trims, and you get the 7th free. So every time you
Oh.
come, you stamp it. Yeah.
Mhm.
So and we also, I mean, we also do like small animals such as like a rabbit or
Rabbits or guinea pigs.
yep,
Cut their nails.
yep.
Hmm.
What about a ferret?
I've done them before. They're a little tough, but they're very wormy. They'll wiggle right out of your hands.
I put
But
them on the
we can
spot.
do ferrets. Yes, I'll attempt it.
That's great. So now this, I mean, with the loyalty program that you offer, there's no excuse not to, at a minimum, keep up with nail trims in between
Yeah.
grooming.
Exactly.
Awesome. Well, thank you for all that information. What I'd like to do now is our rapid fire round. And this is really just designed to allow people to get to know you outside of your grooming expertise. So how this will work is I'm going to give you 2 choices, and whichever speaks to you most is how you'll respond to it. And my job is to tell you whether you're right or wrong. That's really what it boils down to.
Oh my goodness.
So are you ready?
I think so.
All right, let's do this. French fries or onion rings?
French fries.
Sunrise or sunset?
Ooh. Sunset.
All right, okay. Comedy or drama?
Drama.
Okay, we're learning. Guac or salsa?
Salsa.
Oh, boy.
I knew he was going to say that.
Now, do you like to plan everything or go with the flow?
Probably go with the flow.
Okay. And last but certainly not least, beach or mountains?
Ooh, I'm going to pick beach.
Okay. Awesome. Tell us, what is the best piece of advice you have ever gotten?
Ooh, well, I was thinking about this, and I think we decided that being patient, and that was mentioned earlier, and then I thought about it some more, and I don't want to pull that up.
Yeah.
It applied in a lot more ways than I thought. I was thinking to have patience with the animals, and that benefits me and the animal because it does with the anxious ones, especially keeps them calmer. We just started this business, and we've been wanting it to get busy very fast. But I think patience is coming in there, and it's slowly building up. I think patience is helping with that too. And just patience in general. I mean,
Yeah.
driving down the street and there's so much road rage going on out there right now. Just be patient.
Yes.
You're going to get there.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I think that's a good one. I think patience. I think taking it slow, don't getting too anxious about things.
Mhm.
I think if we hear it's going to take a year or 2 years, one more time.
Oh.
But I mean, yeah, just kind of living in the moment and having some patience.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I think for you, especially where you're new to the area that you've just moved to, just enjoy it. Enjoy it for what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Patience is going to come into play, but you know what? I think the more patience that you have, that there's also some health benefits to really embracing the idea of being a little bit more patient. I mean, you could
Yeah.
get your blood pressure jacked up in a minute
Exactly.
if you're worried about everything.
Yeah.
Wow. Exactly. The stress would get to you.
Mhm.
The
Yeah.
stress, but yeah, definitely kind of, I think we've been better with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think we have been.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, being an entrepreneur and owning your own business for sure is not for the faint at heart. But I think you seem to have really the right attitude. The community that you've just moved into seems to have really embraced you quite nicely, and
Yes.
Yeah, it's
hopefully
been great.
that will continue into the future. And let's just be honest; these, the cats, the dogs, the guinea pigs, the ferrets, they can't tell you that they're terrified. They can't tell you that,
know.
their back leg hurts. They can't really
Mhm.
communicate with you. And so, for adopting that mindset of, okay, I got to be patient and feel this out a little bit, I think
Yeah.
will carry you a long way, particularly in the business that you're in. So,
Yeah.
Yeah. And
I
I mean,
agree.
in regards to the community, I've been saying this since day one. They've
Mm.
never been so welcoming. I've
Right.
never seen so many welcoming people
I
and
know.
just
It's been great.
so kind. And they want us to be there. They want us to be busy. They want us to get business so that we don't
Yeah.
leave, which I mean, that would be jumping the gun to leave. But I'm just, already, but I'm just saying, like, they're so supportive. Like they put reviews out, they put posts out, they really do spread the word.
Yeah, they do.
So I've never seen anything like it. It's been so nice.
that's great. That's great. I mean, Mattapoisett is a beautiful community. So
Yeah.
I would be incredibly shocked if you told a completely different story about
Mm.
how you've been treated since you've been there. But I'm very, very happy that the community has been so welcoming and wanting you to succeed. So
Yeah.
that's great. Now, I know you said you're in Mattapoisett. I've been to your location, but tell everybody how they can find you, how they can make an appointment to see you, and if you have any promos or specials or anything that you have going on right now, feel free to share that as well.
Okay. Well, we're located at 58 Fairhaven Road, which is Route 6. The easiest way, well, I guess there's 3 easy ways to contact us. You can either call, text, or book online through our website, which is thegroomingdenma.com.
Okay.
And the phone number is 508-745-4045.
No, 758.
Oh, 758-4045.
That's so funny. Yeah.
How else can they contact
Oh,
us?
email.
Or email.
The Grooming. A lot of people have emailed us for appointments. The
Oh,
Grooming Den ma@gmail.com. So that Facebook message. We're on Facebook, the Grooming Den. They've done that.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. We're on Instagram, TikTok. Nextdoor is another app that we're on. All places that you can message us.
Mm-hmm. Or you can just stop in.
Yeah, stop in. A lot of stop-ins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of stopping in, do you offer tours of your facility for people that
Yes.
may just want to go check it out before bringing their pets in?
Yeah, anyone can come in and check it out anytime they want. They can come in just to get a consultation on their pet.
Yeah.
To see what we think of how they should get it groomed, if it's ready for a groom, if the nails look like they need to be trimmed or not yet. They can stop in for anything.
Okay, all right. No, that's great that your doors are just open and people can do that. 'Cause a lot of places are, no, don't come without an appointment and things like that. It seems like you've developed a pretty flexible model, which I think will provide some comfort for folks that are looking for a new spot. So,
Definitely. I know, like I said from the beginning, a lot of places when you drop your dog off for grooming, um, and it's been since, I mean, I've had dogs for I don't know how long, and with the groomers that I've used, it's like you drop them off, but you don't know where they went really. They just take them in the back room.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it's okay, but you know, it would be nice to
Mm.
kind of take a peek, you know, and
Yeah.
see. So that's why I've always said, you know, anytime you want to look, you know, you're more than welcome to look and see what it looks like.
Mhm.
And, you know, because I would be curious too.
Mhm.
So people have taken advantage of that and gone and looked around. And we did have an open house at the beginning for a grand opening that people came in and took a tour. But
Yep.
if they missed that, that's fine. They can come in and just say, hey, can I take a peek? I was thinking about it, wanted to see what it looked like.
Yeah.
Or can I
Anytime.
meet the groomer? Does he have
Mhm.
time to meet me right now? You know, because he could be in the
Yeah.
middle of something. But usually,
Sure.
you know, he has a few minutes that he can come
Yeah.
out. Yeah.
Anytime. If they're walking by with your dog and it needs water, we will give you water.
Yeah, yeah. A treat. We have some treats that
Treats.
in the waiting room area.
Mhm.
Good to know because the dog days of summer are fast approaching. So if
Mhm.
folks happen to be out and about with their dogs, it's nice that there's a little spot anyway that they can get some
Yes.
water. So
Yep.
also good to know.
Yeah.
So if you had 60 seconds to share a final thought with those that you hope to serve in the future, what would that be?
Ooh, 60 seconds to share about new customers, let's say. Um, give us a shot. I mean, you can come check the place out, meet me, see how your pet's going to be here. I mean, I think they're going to have a great experience. It's a nice environment. They'll be taken care of in a calm, gentle manner. Um, yeah, I think they'll really like it.
Kerry, do you have any final thoughts for any potential customers that you might serve in the future?
Well, I think like he said, I mean, hopefully they'll definitely come and try us. I mean, he's, you know, he's not going to say this, but I do think he has the knack, so to speak. You know, the sometimes I say the dog whisperer. I know that I do. I say the animal whisperer, you know, like he's just has, and even the customers, a couple of customers have said it,
Yeah.
you know, so it's like, what is he, the dog whisperer? So I just wish that, you know, they would try, you know, maybe feel comfortable. That's what I wish. They would feel comfortable and want to give us, you know, their trust and, you know, with their pets and, you know, let us earn their business. So that's what we want.
Mhm.
So hopefully they'll try it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's important, you know, that one of the big takeaways that I got from this conversation was that it's such an important aspect of your pet's health. So it's super important to find a groomer that you can trust because there's just so much that can go unnoticed with,
Yeah.
you know, as a pet owner, you know, you're petting your dog every single day. And sometimes it's hard to notice something if you're petting that same spot every single day. You don't even tend to notice changes. So, you know,
Right.
have someone that you know, like, and trust that, you know, you can bring them to every now and again. They'll pick up on those small little subtleties. And as we know, with most things, early detection is so important. So
Right.
Yep.
for health and wellness. So
It's a good point
Yeah.
that you brought up because one of the things that happened, like it was a couple weeks ago, like some getting used to like, you know, the petting and not noticing things, like even getting used to the different smell on your dog. Like sometimes when a dog has an ear infection,
Hmm.
it
Yeah.
smells a certain way. And when I was bathing one, when I took him and I called him over and I said, there's something wrong, in this dog's ear. So
Mhm.
he definitely, he told the owner when they came, you might want to get that checked out because it does smell
Yeah.
like kind of yeasty, which, you
Mhm.
know what I mean? So the owner might have been used to it. You get a little nose blind or
Yeah,
or they
just think
came
he's
in.
dirty.
Yeah, he's dirty, So that's a good point that you made, which reminded me of that. It's a really good point. You just kind of get used to the same thing, having an extra set of eyes or hands,
Mhm.
and they get pampered and the dog gets pampered and enjoys it. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's so nice when the dog really enjoys, which most of them really do enjoy
Yeah.
the bath.
Mhm.
So they love getting scrubbed and it really is a massaging bath. So,
Yeah.
never mind, the fact that we do the health portion too, but they also enjoy it.
Mhm.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, no, this is all, it's all so important, and it's great that there's another option for folks, especially people that have cats. Because like I said,
Yeah.
not a lot of places offer that, so it's
Mhm.
wonderful that you're in the community now, and that's a service that you can offer, so.
Yep.
Well, listen, this has been a fantastic conversation. Thank you so much for sharing some time with me. It's been great learning about your business. I am definitely going to stop in there again and
Good.
check you out again. Your facility is beautiful, so I hope that you get flooded with phone calls and messages and texts.
Me too. Thank
You
you
too.
so
Yeah,
much.
thank
And you're
you.
welcome to stop in anytime
Mhm.
with your doggies and grab some water and a treat.
I am absolutely gonna make it a point to bring them by and check you
Yeah.
guys out. So
Yeah.
Good. Thank you.
Great. Mm.